How do you become the person that you want to become? How do you bridge that gap between where you are now, who you are now, to who you want to be? And I can tell you, it's not because you're going to win Lotto and something's not just magically going to happen to you to make you into that person. Whatever you are doing now is stopping you from becoming that person. You've got to do something different.
Welcome to the I Am Eugenia Ninko podcast. I am Eugenia Ninko, and you're in the right place if you are done accepting crumbs of attention and affection. You are done accepting things from life, from yourself, and from other people that you never ever thought that you would accept. You are done playing by everybody else's playbooks. You are done trying to live up to other people's standards, other people's expectations, being everything to everyone whilst getting little to almost nothing back. And you are ready to step into the ultimate version of yourself, but you don't know how. In this podcast, we are going to talk about how you rebuild your identity, how you find the ultimate inner self, and what's it gonna take for you to show up as her every single day, and how can you gain the confidence that no matter what happens to you, you are so steadfast in your purpose, who you are and what you're about, that nothing can shake you. If this sounds like you, subscribe and follow this podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify, and you can also get it on www.eugenianinko.com for your weekly and daily doses of how to take your power back and own your life.
Welcome to the I Am Eugenia Ninko podcast. We're on episode 49, and today's focus is about how do you become the person that you want to become. You are where you are. You know who you are now. You know who you want to be. And if you don't, then go listen to episode 47 and 48. I've got really practical exercises that you can do today to figure that out. Once you know exactly who you want to be, there's obviously a gap. There's a gap between who you are and who you want to be. And you're not sure how to close that gap. And that gap can be large. It can feel like this is never going to happen. You see this huge mountain and thousands of steps, and you just don't know how long is it going to take or how are you going to get there. So this is how you're going to do it. You have to live your life like it is already happening. You have to wake up and approach your life like it's already happening. Imagine if you've booked a trip to go to Europe or something next year. You've booked the trip. You know the date. The only difference is you're not on the trip right now. You know it's coming. And every day you live like, yes, 20 weeks till my trip, or I'm so excited to see these things and those things. And you're already planning in your mind how it's going to go. Do you know the only difference between today and that trip is the fact that you know the date it's going to happen? That's the only difference. Why do people not go after the things that they want? Why do they stay in relationships that they're unhappy with? Why do they stay in jobs that they're miserable in? Why do they stay in friend groups that they've so outgrown, like they've been in this group since they were in primary or high school or whatever it is, college, university, and they've just so far outgrown those people, but they feel like they can't leave? It's because of the unknown. It's because of fear. People don't go after things not because they don't want them, but because the fear of the unknown. What if the grass isn't greener on the other side? What if I leave my relationship and I'm going to be alone forever? What if I leave my job and then I can't find a job? So we start making all these reasons up why we can't go after it. And our brain ticks into survival mode because it's always scanning for threat. What is going to be a threat to our survival? Perhaps there's a time where the last time you left your relationship was really, really painful. Perhaps it took you months of sitting on the couch crying and being depressed in the sense of ending a relationship, wondering if you're ever going to find someone again. And maybe it took a long time for you to find this person, and this person is still not really what you want, or you realize it's probably not what you want, but you don't want to leave because you don't want to go through that again. And your brain is actively stopping you, saying, hey, if you do this, it's going to hurt. So we don't go after things, not because we don't want them, not because we think they're fully impossible, but because we don't know for sure. The problem with that is that you're expecting a result that you've never gone after something like that before, and you've never been that person before either. But you're expecting a solid result based on who you are now. And here's the truth, and it's probably going to hurt. Who you are now is not the person you're going to be in the future. This ultimate vision of yourself is not who you are now. Because if you were, you would already be that person. You are in this season of your life. To be the person you want to be, you have to do something different. And most often in life, the true next path does not present itself until you're already on it. But what that requires is letting go of what you know. And it's really about surrendering to the experience. It's like when people move countries and they don't know anybody and they don't know how it's going to go, but it's almost like that leap of faith. You have to actually leave your country and go and move somewhere else before you know how it's actually going to go. Before you learn the language, potentially, before you know where all the streets are, before you know how people act in the culture and everything like that. So it's taking that leap of faith, hoping or knowing that it's going to have a better result, but not actually seeing the full path come up in front of you. But here's the thing. You do not need to make this huge leap of faith. You do not need to do everything at once. If you can see in your life, you already know that actually kind of everything needs to change. And it can be to the point where you will, if you're ready for change, will often present itself like, I want to move to a new house. I want a new car. I want a new haircut. I want a whole new wardrobe. It will be things like that that present themselves, and it's showing you you're in a transition period between who you were and the next version of you. That next version of you is not necessarily the ultimate version. There might be like another 9 versions of you between now and getting to the ultimate person. So it's not like, oh, I just need to take this next step and I'm going to be that person, because that leap can be very, very big. So, how do you start becoming the person you want to become while you're in your current situation? You can just start with super small steps. Once you know what the ultimate you looks like, it can be something really simple. And it's something that in NLP is called anchoring. It could be into an item or a smell or something that triggers a thought or a feeling and an emotion about the thing that you are trying to trigger. So, for example, you see your ultimate self as this beautiful, like vivacious woman. You know what kind of perfume you'd be wearing, what kind of clothes you'd be wearing, what kind of car you'd be driving, where you'd be living. But all those things are like hundreds of thousands of dollars, for example. So you know that you can't get to there now. It could be something as simple as you, as your ultimate you, on your brand new kitchen bench might have a beautiful vase of your favorite flowers. And if you had the means, if you had the financial ability, you would have those fresh flowers on your kitchen table every single day. That is one way you can start becoming her. You might think, Eugenia, that sounds stupid, but do it and watch what happens. Because you go out, buy those flowers, you put them on your kitchen bench, and they are there every single week. Every time you smell them, every time you walk past them, you are going to get flashes of your ultimate self. And naturally, you are going to be like, okay, what's the next step? How do I become her? It becomes more urgent, but not in the sense of I need it right now. It becomes like, okay, what is the next step? The next step may be that as your ultimate version of you is you go to the gym every morning, or you'd have a really strong body. Maybe you go to yoga, maybe you go to Pilates, maybe you start your day differently. Right now, you might be starting your day snoozing 5 alarms. You're always running behind, running late. You have a quick coffee, you have a quick shower, and then you're out the door, and then you're buying like a muffin or something when you get to work. The ultimate version of you might have a really quiet and slow start to the day. It's peaceful. Perhaps she wakes up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. She wakes up, she goes, makes her favorite coffee. She sits in bed under the covers and smells the coffee and just enjoys the aroma and watches the sunrise or the sun slowly come up. She sips her coffee. There's no urgency. There's no need to be running out the door. At 6:30, she's still in a good place. At 6:30 is when she starts getting ready for work. She has a nice shower. Maybe you're gonna light some candles instead of having the harsh light on in your shower. So, do you see how you don't have to change your entire life? You only need to change one thing. If you haven't listened to the last episode, go listen to the last episode, and then you've got an exercise of how to figure out what ultimate version of you want and what that looks like. Once you know, ask yourself, what is one really small, easy thing that, say you don't have the financial means, what is something for free that you could be doing that is already that one step towards being her? And waking up earlier doesn't cost you anything. In fact, it can actually make your life much better, because then you're gonna go the day without running down to the cafe and getting a muffin or drive through McDonald's or whatever in the morning for breakfast. Maybe you buy your lunches every day because you haven't created time and space for yourself to meal prep. And the kind of person that she would be is she would eat healthier, not because she wants to be super skinny or super hot, although that should be just like a natural progression of who she is, but perhaps because she wants longevity. When she's 40 or 50, she wants to still look like the way she did when she was 30. Maybe she wants to really truly look after herself. She wants to feel strong and look strong. So there's little things that you can be doing that doesn't actually cost you any money to start acting like that person. And when you start acting like that person, you are becoming, not waiting. So at the moment, if you're waiting for something to happen, this huge moment in life, I've even spoken to people that have lost their jobs or been made redundant. And they would say to me, like, I was kind of hoping this would happen to me, because then it would make me actually go after the things I want. And it's like people wait for these signs. People wait for something to happen to give themselves the permission to actually go start doing the things they want. But the thing is, some of these people that I've talked to, they have known about their company restructuring for a year and a half. And so they've waited over a year and a half to give themselves the permission to go start living life like the way that they want. And time, you will never get time back. Time is something you can't buy it back. You can't get it back. No matter how much you sit and regret or wish you did things differently, you can't go back. All you have is time and what you do with it. So, what are you going to do with that time? Are you going to sit there and wait for something to happen? Are you going to wait for you to win Lotto? Are you going to wait for your partner to leave you? Are you hoping that your partner leaves you so that you don't have to leave them? Are you hoping that your company is going to restructure so you lose your job to finally give yourself the permission to go after the kind of thing that you want? Are you waiting for the kids to leave home so that you can finally start a career or whatever it is? You have to stop waiting, because the permission is yours to give you. Stop waiting for a situation to happen to give you the permission, because it's essentially what you're doing. You're waiting for something to happen to you that gives you permission to go after the things that you want. But the permission happens the second you decide, I want to be this person. I want to start changing my life. I want to start living the life that I deserve. And that happens in the moment that you decide that. And you don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to go full throttle. If anything, trying to change everything at once, it can feel really good in the moment. But what it does is it's a huge change, and you might not be quite that person yet. For example, when people win Lotto, if they've been in survival mode and they've had no money, they don't know how to invest their money. They don't know how to save it or spend it. They've never budgeted with that kind of money before. Let's say if you win Lotto, you might want it to last the rest of your life. But that's why you'll read a lot of articles where people win Lotto and they'll spend $1 million in 1 year and they're actually poorer than they were before. That's not because they're dumb. It's because something has happened to them, but they are not the person they need to be to hold it, to keep it, to maintain it. So you've got to become that person so that you can have that dream life, that dream car, that dream house, that dream husband, that dream body. It takes a certain kind of person to have it. If you got it today, you would probably lose it because you don't know what it took to maintain it. You don't know what it took to have it. So you have to do those things first. And it's in the small steps you do every single day. So there's a difference between waiting and becoming. Because if you're waiting, you're not just magically going to be that person. You don't know what it takes yet. Maybe you know on some level, like if you want to have a really great body and eat healthy, you know that you've got to make some better food choices. You know, maybe you need to do some meal prep. You know, maybe you need to join the gym. But doing those things does not make you that person straight away. It's consistency. It's showing up. It's not eating one healthy meal or going to the gym once a week that's going to get you there. And the consistency, it's the mind games, the mindset, what it takes to still get up in the morning when you don't want to get up. What it takes to eat something healthy when all you want to do is go eat a pizza. What it takes to wait for the man of your dreams sitting there on the couch every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night on your own while other people are posting happy couple photos, or maybe you are that friend that goes to events single while everyone's in a couple, or you are working on your business or your side hustle, or you're with your kids whilst also being like, I wish I had that for myself. It's in those moments, they are what make you, and they are what create that becoming. It's those things that you have to live out that take you to where you need to be and create the person that you need to be. So stop waiting. Give yourself the permission the minute you decide that you want a different result and that you want to start making steps to becoming that person. That is your permission to yourself to go, I am ready. I have my own permission to become that version of myself that I really want to be. And just one small step. Do one small thing weekly. Your one small thing might be start waking up earlier. And that's it. You don't necessarily have to know what you're going to do with that time. Then 2 or 3 weeks later, you might introduce something new. I'm going to start going to yoga 3 mornings a week. Then 3 or 4 weeks later, once you've been able to maintain all of those things and not let them go, not let them slip, show up consistently for waking up early, for your yoga sessions. Once you've done that for a chunk of time, then introduce another thing. And once you've maintained that, then introduce another thing. And then do you see how those things stack on top of each other and you are becoming the person that you want to be? That's what it takes. And eventually, out of the 20 to 30 things that you might have to do to become that person, and you're ticking one thing off the list every month, yeah, and in 2 years' time, you might be that person. But that might take 2 years' time, but if you do nothing, you might never, ever be that person. And the kind of opportunities that you get and the kind of life that you live as your ultimate self is so different to the kind of opportunities that you miss out on staying the way that you are and being unhappy, being in a relationship you don't want to be in, living in a house you don't want to live in, doing a job or reporting to a boss that you really, really don't like. You are keeping yourself there, and that's a hard truth to swallow, but you are responsible for your happiness. So now go do the things required of you to be that person. Start living your life like it's already happening. There's just no deadline. There's just no date for when you get on that train, but it will most definitely happen if you keep doing what needs to be done. If you want daily motivation, if you want daily doses of how do I become this person and take steps consistently to becoming your ultimate self, developing yourself, reflecting, highlighting the things that are actually holding you back, the environments, the people, and yourself, what is actually getting in your way that you might not even recognize is actually holding you back, then that is what your daily dose to reclaim your power is for. It's literally a daily dose. It's a daily podcast, 10 to 15-minute episodes that are continuously going to keep you insightful, self reflective, and there's exercises in there daily that you can go away and do to keep growing into that person that you want to be. Once you subscribe, you have access to all the podcasts. So not just for that day or for that week during your subscription period, you have access to all of them. You can listen to them as many times as you want. So if you want, you can go away for the weekend, have a little retreat, little self-care, listen to the episodes, do the exercises, and it will really hit home what you've been doing that's been actually keeping you where you are and what you need to do next to become the person you want to be. All right, guys, I'll see you for the next episode next week.